Hello and welcome. I'm going to take a little practice today, working with this theme that I've been teaching all week. It is one of yoga's yamas that we call aparigraha. It's usually translated as non-clinging or non-attachment, and oftentimes also non-greed. And the reason greed and non-attachment are put together is because usually it is coveting what someone else has or feeling like we are lacking that causes us to cling and hold on or try to control things. So this is a human condition that all of us will at some point in time or another feel lonely, feel isolated, feel ashamed, feel unworthy. And this feeling of being unwhole or broken, which is very normal for humans, causes us to grasp or to try to fill the hole. And sometimes we buy things, or we try to do yoga poses perfectly or look perfect. So aparigraha on the mat today in our practice will work with this idea of filling this inner presence up, of returning to that inner presence that is whole and complete and remembers that it is loved and valued. And at the same time, we'll work on softening the outer boundary of the skin, the armor, the shell of hardness that makes us grasp and cling and control things. So take whatever seat is comfortable for you. If you're not already there, you don't have to sit cross-legged, but do try to sit with an upright spine. And then find a way to rest your arms, to relax them in whatever way that you can, so that you're not holding on. I prefer to close my eyes at the beginning of the practice, but you could also just soften your eyes and gaze out or down. And to begin, just take a moment to greet yourself here, to meet your body, your mind, your heart. And no matter what you're feeling, no matter where you are, who you are, what you've been through, you are welcome here. Then start to breathe a little more deeply, remembering that with each inhale, the prana fills you up, turns up the light of the inner body. And when you exhale, that light doesn't dim, but the skin can just softly relax over the skeleton and this inner presence. You're welcome to leave your hands where they are or to join them together in front of your heart. To continue to set this intention of practicing aparigraha, to let go just a little bit, not of our values or of who we are, but of the illusion of protection that actually keeps us separate. And in your own time, tuck your chin towards your chest. If your hands are together, release them back to your legs. And if you've closed your eyes, just blink a few times until you can focus. And when you're ready to move, make your way to all fours on your mat. And I want you to explore some movement when you get there. It doesn't have to be cat and cow. That's pretty traditional, and you're welcome to do that. But feel free to hula hoop the ribs or to sway from side to side, just to move in a way that breaks up anything that feels like it's stuck and starts to soften the hard edges. And if your feet are not near the back of your mat, walk them there so that you have room to now stretch your arms forward into puppy pose, hatha asana, the pose of the heart. Straighten your elbows, lift your elbows up, lift your armpits up, take your chest down, maybe even take your head down on the mat or on a block or on a blanket. Build strength in the arms, softness around the heart. Begin to back yourself up and then step forward with your right foot. In a kneeling lunge, you can always pad your back knee if you want to. So I like to leave my hands down because that feels more supportive for me, but for some people that's too strong of a stretch or their arms are not reaching easily. So do what version you can do, where you can stay and allow the front of your left hip to stretch open. You're going to lift your hips back over your left knee and then spin your back foot so that it's perpendicular, your shin is perpendicular to your mat. Now I'm not mirroring you here, but your right knee, it's going to look like my left one, is pushing back, and you're moving your hips in the direction of sitting on your left heel. So you can keep the hips in this shape and maybe bow a little bit or sway a little bit and enjoy just a few breaths where this bright light, like the light that's coming out from the clouds on me, is turning up, getting brighter inside. And even though we might be working with a pretty tight, vulnerable, or personal area there, try to soften into it so that the armor can fall away a little bit. We can turn towards the other side of the mat and come into a kneeling lunge there. So sometimes when we work with aparigraha, it's a good idea to break up old habits and just try new things, different things. Maybe do the left leg first. Face a different way on your mat. Drive home a way you don't normally do. And oftentimes, a change up like that, painting a wall a different color in your house, it can sort of break some of that stagnation or clinging that we have. Try to allow your hips to drop down so you get a big stretch on the front of your right thigh. Hands can go wherever they want. They don't have to be on the floor like mine. Then lift your hips, go back over the right knee. Turn, so you're going to turn your torso perpendicular to your mat. Swing your back knee and foot around so that it's also perpendicular to the mat. And then you're sitting in the direction of going towards your right foot. So the left knee, you're not trying to force it back. Toes and knees can be in just a little, and we're not trying to do the middle splits. We're just trying to get a sense of opening on the adductors, the inner thighs, without hurting our joints, like the hip joints. So right now, the angle of my knees is somewhere between 45 and 90, my thighs. It's enough geometry for today. From here, you can move around if you want to. Maybe bow the head. Maybe sway a little bit. Softening the skin, softening the face as you move. And returning to what was the top of the mat before. And this time coming into downward facing dog.
Just like puppy pose, you want to straighten the elbows, get a little buoyancy under the armpits so that the part of you that moves deeper in the posture is your upper back and your chest. It's like you're trying to move your chest closer to your legs. And while you hold the form of the pose, it's a strong pose. You're holding to this stable, calm part of yourself that can manage to stay present even in the face of adversity or challenge. Instead of fighting it or clenching against it, maybe you just practice letting go a little bit, right around your chest, your heart. Please drop your knees. You can put your feet on your toe nails and either sit on your heels, or if you have a block, you could sit on the block in Virasana. You could even sit on a blanket or on the floor there. We'll take the hands across the lap. And just sit for a moment, quietly. And while we sit here, just call all the pieces of yourself home. Any pieces that feel like they're off somewhere else. Try to be here now. Blink the eyes open if they're closed. You're going to reach behind your back. If you can interlace your fingers, do that. If not, grab a yoga belt. With your palms forward, hold that. Bend your elbows as if you're going to rip the belt in half and lift your chest. Regardless of which version you're doing, you're going to keep a lift in your chest and go in the direction of straightening your arms. Don't force it. You don't want to hurt yourself. You're welcome to stay here or to take hare pose, not hair on the top of your head, but H-A-R-E. For this one, you lift your hips and you put your head down and you shift to the crown of your head by lifting your booty off the block or your heels. Push your hands over your head as if to touch the floor. And reverse that course. Come towards your nose or forehead. Release the hands. You can use your hands on the mat to help you carefully sit back up. Then rise to stand on your knees. Place your hands on your hips. Push down to generate some lift in your spine. And roll your shoulders and your head back. Start to lean the hips forward. Don't use your hands on your feet. It's a hovering version of camel pose. So go only where you can still hold yourself up strong, stable inside, but at the same time soften your face. Soften the armor around the heart. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then you're going to sit down with your feet off to the side on the left. So the hips are asymmetrical on purpose. It's a destabilizing posture, and the idea with this is that we can still find stability. We can remember the wholeness. We can remember that we are loved, even if it's by a sweet animal who wants to be your companion. This is Lizzie Dog, if you've never met her. She has her own page, Lizzie Dog Life. But that we're all in this together. We all have these experiences. They're destabilizing when we don't feel loved, we feel alone. So you just do your best to sit up tall in that feeling, whatever is going on for you right now.
You hold that light, that lift, and you twist away from your legs. Again, I'm not mirroring you. You turn to the right. It's going to look like I'm turning to the left. And you can use your left hand against your leg. Hi, Lizzie. Hi. And your right hand can go behind you or next to your hips to help you twist. So some people like to do the front hand palm forward, and they feel that helps their shoulder. Some people like palm down because it gives more leverage to turn. Same with the head. You can look in either direction. It doesn't matter. Do the one that helps you feel best. Helps you feel less protective, less defensive. Start to unravel your twist. Guess what, Lizzie? I have to put my feet where your butt is. So the feet go forward. One trade sides. Watch out. Okay, come here. Good girl. So when you stack your feet to the side, they might be toes pointing out straight, one might be back. Just sit however you can. Some people even stagger the knees. I'm not interested in the form of your pose being perfect. I'm really interested in you doing it well. Doing it well to the best of your ability, not perfect, right? Unstable in the hips, but stable in your memory that you're not alone. You twist to the left on this side, use your right hand on your left leg somewhere, and the left hand behind you or next to your hips. You could even put it on a block. Maybe experiment with something different, like moving your head towards the front or towards the back, so that you're not attached to it looking like a plate in Light on Yoga or some picture on Instagram. We all know those are fake anyway, the Instagram pictures, right? Here I am saying that on Instagram, but posed is probably a better word. Untwist. And just take a seat. We'll sit for just a moment. Lizzie's being camera shy. She doesn't want to face the camera today, I guess. But if it's hard for you to sit, if it feels like your back is rounding, just grab a blanket and sit on that, and that'll help your pelvis tilt so that your back is more upright. In either case, just soften your eyes or close your eyes and be with yourself. And if there is a part of you that feels angry or unworthy or lonely, acknowledge that part. And start to breathe around this part of yourself that might have been ignored for a while. Soften your scalp, skin around your ears. Broaden your forehead. Relax your eyes, your jaw, and even the base of your skull where it meets your neck, so that all these parts of you that may have been tense or holding years of anger or sadness can begin to let go. And as they do, continue to be aware of how your breath feels. If it's very agitating, this idea of being with yourself, just open your eyes and gaze around the room to remind yourself that you're here now. You're not in that other time, but you're here at this point where you have the time and space to do this yoga practice. And if it feels safe for you to go back in with that, just remember that we've all had these experiences, and you breathe with that to remind yourself to let go just a little bit, to turn this inner presence, this inner light, this metaphorical light that relates to spirit, up. We turn it up just a little brighter so that the inner body is very stable and strong while the outer body can stop holding on. If you're short on time and you want to stop, you can stop now. But you might also consider taking a reclining pose, shavasana, as it's normally called, lying down, either propped with your head or your back on something, or just flat. Excuse me. Thank you. And really, shavasana is just a way to allow your body to rest and to assimilate everything that you have done in this practice. It doesn't need to be super long. Even just 30 seconds is better than not doing it at all, if possible. When you do get ready to sit up, and you can stay longer than I stayed, try to roll to your side or to come up in some sort of unjarring way so that you transition a little bit more mindfully. And once more, you can take an upright posture and either rest your hands in your lap or join them in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart. It's often considered the gesture of gratitude. And this is another wonderful way to include aparigraha in our lives, is to practice being grateful for what we do have, instead of complaining about the lack of what we don't have. So thank you so much for tuning in and for practicing with me today. You can find out more about me always at paisley.com. Namaste.